Florence Ellinwood Allen was the first woman assistant county prosecutor in the United States and the first woman elected to a judicial office in Ohio. Later, she became the first woman in the nation to be elected to a court of the last resort, the Supreme Court of Ohio, and the first woman appointed to a federal appeals court judgeship. She was born on March 23, 1884 in Salt Lake City, Utah. At age 16, she entered Western Reserve University, which is now Case Western Reserve University in Cleveland. During her junior year, she was elected to Phi Beta Kappa and graduated with a master's degree in 1904, after which she lived in Germany for 2 years. Allen returned to the United States, where she accepted a position as a teacher at Laurel School in Cleveland. She enrolled again in Western Reserve, graduating with a master's in political science and constitutional law. Western Reserve did not admit women to its law school at the time, so Allen entered the University of Chicago Law Department in 1909. She was the only female in a class of 100 students. At the end of the term, she was second in her class. She supported herself by cataloging French and German legal treatises in the university library. At the end of the term in 1910, Allen moved to New York City to assist newly arrived immigrants for the New York League of Protection of Immigrants. She also worked as a music lecturer in public schools and libraries for the New York Board of Education. Allen enrolled in New York University Law School to complete her legal studies and graduated with a law degree in 1913. Although second in her class, she received no job offers from prominent New York legal firms. Returning to Cleveland, she was admitted to the Ohio bar in 1914 and began the general law practice that same year. In 1914, she was appointed assistant prosecutor for Cayuga County. On August 24, 1920, Tennessee became the 36th state to ratify the 19th Amendment to the United States Constitution, granting women the right to vote. Allen's friends in the Women's Suffrage Party encouraged her to seek election to a Cayuga County Court of Common Pleas judgeship. Since the primaries had already been held, the only way for her to place her name on the ballot was to gather the required signatures on a petition. Party members gathered 2,000 signatures in 2 days, and her name was placed on the ballot. Supported by the significant Cleveland newspapers, community leaders, and several unions, she was elected on November 2, 1920, the first election in which women could vote except on local matters. Allen became the first woman elected to a judicial office in the United States. On January 1, 1921, Allen assumed her duties as a common pleas judge. The court had 12 judges who operated without an administrative head of the court. Material witnesses to a crime could be held in jail for months, waiting for trial to begin. Meanwhile, the defendants could be free on bond. Without a judge supervising the docket, the trials involving jailed material witnesses were not moved to the front of the docket. Allen worked with several women's organizations to draft a law that would mandate a chief justice of the Common Pleas Court in any county with more than one judge to supervise the docket and manage the process more promptly. The Ohio General Assembly passed the law, and from January 1, 1921 to September 1, 1922, Judge Allen disposed of 892 cases, including 3 first-degree murder cases, 1 second-degree murder trial, and the perjury trial of Justice William McGannon, Chief Justice of the Cleveland Municipal Court. Several of Justice Allen's friends encouraged her to seek election to the Supreme Court in 1922. She believed in the nonpartisan judiciary, so she did not seek the support of the Democratic or Republican parties. Again, she used the petition method to place her name on a statewide ballot. Friends from all over Ohio circulated her petitions. Women in many counties formed Florence Allen clubs, which helped her secure newspaper endorsements. On November 7, 1922, she was elected Justice of the Supreme Court of Ohio, the first woman elected to the highest court in any state. In 1923, Justice Allen wrote the majority opinion of the Ohio Automatic Sprinkler Company versus Fender in an important decision regarding the right of an employee to sue his employer for injuries sustained by dangerous machinery. Citing many similar cases from other states' Supreme Courts and federal courts, she wrote, "It is in fact the general rule in jurisdictions of authority in the United States that statutes of this kind prescribing a general course of conduct for employers are and have been for a considerable period enforced. In other words, they are enforceable and do constitute lawful requirements in the ordinary meaning of the words." In a 4-3 opinion, the Supreme Court overruled its 3 previous decisions and ruled that statutes requiring employers to guard dangerous machinery were specific injunctions and enforceable. They also held that they can sue their employer when a machine injures employees. On November 6, 1928, Justice Allen was reelected to another 6-year term. She contemplated seeking a third term on the Supreme Court, but events intervened. President Franklin D. Roosevelt nominated Allen for the United States Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals. The U.S. Senate unanimously approved her nomination on March 23, 1934. She resigned from the Supreme Court on that day and began her duties on April 9, 1934. She was the first woman appointed and confirmed to a federal appeals court judgeship. Justice Allen served on the Sixth Circuit for 32 years. She served as chief judge from September 18, 1958 to February 5, 1959. Later that year, she tendered her resignation to President Dwight D. Eisenhower. On October 5, 1959, she went on senior status, where she served on special arraignments.